On this week's delicious episode of the Fine Dining Podcast, Dad can't cook. Off to Perkins we go.
He took one photograph with a kid in a wheelchair and he's like, I have a charity. If you saw Joey Hardball, you could never pick him out of a lineup. Whatever you're picturing he looks like, he does not look like that.
Hello, and welcome to the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. And I could not be any more America this week. I am in the nation's true capital, New York City. And look, I know this is coming out late August, but I just attended the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July. I'm waving my proverbial American flag, and I could not think of a better guest to join me this week than Andrew Canada.
Come on.
A guy whose actual last name I don't believe.
Haven't I shown you my license before?
You have. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Canada, he comes to us from the Two in the Cooler podcast. Two brothers, two viewpoints, two in the cooler. It's you and your brother just having a time. And
just goofs.
It's very enjoyable. Like, you guys have a great chemistry together.
I'm so glad you like it, dude. If you didn't, it would honestly break my heart. But it's great to be here with the diabetic Howard Stern. Mike, you know, I've loved your show for a long time, and I'm very happy to be on it. I'm glad you just attended the Nathan's hot dog eating competition.
I did.
How did you place?
I came in last. I ate one in the crowd.
One in the crowd.
Yeah.
Another name for the podcast.
One in the crowd, two in the cooler.
Yeah, I was telling you today, first time I ate a Nathan's hot dog, I ate 12 that day. And I just couldn't get enough of them.
Infantile, right?
Man, how old was I?
Like 6 or 7, you said?
My uncle was still alive, so I probably would have been...
Can you please use a less depressing metric?
Dude, the only way I know how time passes, like how to keep track of when things happen, is like when
left
deaths
this planet.
When they left or when they died. Yeah. So let's see. So if
I'm so
grandpa
depressed I'm
died
no
in
longer
February
interested.
of that, then this would have been a couple years after that. So I was probably like 13 or something.
Well, for those of you joining this show for the first time, this is the podcast where I am looking for the most mediocre restaurant, and I'm doing it because people say things are good or bad, but where does good become bad? Where does bad become good? There is a tipping point, and I'm out there to define it so that people can just have a shorthand. You can say, oh, it's better than Cracker Barrel, and everyone accepts that means it's good, or it's worse than Cracker Barrel, and that's the bar for what's bad. Currently, Cracker Barrel sits at a 5.01 out of 10. I almost found the most mediocre restaurant in America and ended the podcast in Cracker Barrel, but it was 1/100th of a point off.
Dang, boss, I hate to say it, but I feel like you could have saved a lot of time not doing all these episodes, because I think most people probably would have guessed Cracker Barrel would be right in the middle of mediocre.
But if I called it there, I would have never gotten to where I am today. We went to Perkins Restaurant and Bakery. It was an interesting time. We will get into it. Last thing before I go into the opening credits, though, I want to remind everyone not next week, but next episode after part 2 airs of Perkins, because I do 2-part episodes. This week we're covering the history and Yelp reviews. Next week we'll talk about our time at the restaurant. But after that, Septemburger begins, my annual competition where I'm actually looking for good instead of mediocre. So go to linktree.com/fine dining podcast, fill out your Septemburger bracket. You have until September 10th, meaning you can listen to the first episode and correctly fill in those answers for free. You get 2 answers. And if you are correct with your bracket, you get put into a drawing for $500. You can win $500 just for guessing which burgers beat other burgers.
Just 500? Because I remember that.
Okay.
No, what I mean is $500 like straight up, not for like a specific gift card or anything like that. Jesus Christ.
$500 Venmo? I don't know how I'm going to do it.
We'll send it to you.
Yeah. Anyways, our table isn't ready, but here's a song that indicates it is.
Your table is ready, follow me. Have you tried our chicken breast? Serving pancakes and ribs, I recommend the spaghetti. We're here to satisfy, not to impress. Your table is ready, complimentary butter and bread. These walls have road signs, knick-knack, cowboy hat, good luck cat, autographed guitar, some crap from your city. Behold the tchotchke of mediocrity. Fine dining, letters on the sign aren't shining. Neon flickering, irregular timing. Identify the perfect 5 out of 10. Fine dining. Fine dining.
We're recording straight from my hotel room
Hell yeah.
on the 55th floor of the Times Square Residence Inn. I'm so hot because the AC is off for noise. And so I am just sweating all over this leather chair that I'm in. And I feel like that defines how Perkins made me feel.
Oh,
But you have a history with this place. I told you I was doing Perkins and you were like, I gotta be there.
yeah.
Tell me about, just briefly, your history with Perkins.
Well, my mom, being a teacher, she would have like, open house nights and things like that a lot. So when it was just my brother and my dad and I for dinner, we would either go to the Pizza Hut buffet or to Perkins. And Mike, Perkins as a kid especially, ruled so much because they still have that same kids menu where you pick like an entree, a side, and then
the desserts, by the way, looked so tailored to kids.
yeah,
They had like a monster thing. They had like a rainbow thing.
Yep.
It's like they're fun.
Yeah, it's a great time. And the cookie, it's all included.
Yeah.
So you would go, get the chicken fingers, which they haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
So good. Well, relatively. Side of corn.
So good they were so there.
Yeah, exactly.
They were there for me.
Oh, God, they really were.
Yeah.
Even in the hardest of times. And just a side of corn. We should have gotten I wish we had gotten the corn, but I couldn't bring myself to order it because it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but they have like it's weird.
funk
It's
to
really,
it.
it's really wet. It's really wet.
The best descriptor of any food. What'd you like about it? It was wet.
Oh, can I have a side of corn extra wet, please? Yeah, please wet it up. But it's like really wet corn, and then I think it just had like a bunch of pepper in it.
Great.
Because I remember it as a kid being like kind of spicy, but it might have just been a bunch of black pepper.
Yeah.
Mixed with like water or something, and then all this corn. But God, it was good.
Well, that's your history with Perkins. Do you want to hear the history of Perkins?
It's weird. It never occurred to me that there even was a history of Perkins. I was like, these places just
They've always been.
they've been here long before us. They'll be here long after we're gone.
Yeah.
If only that were true.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into this week's Eat Deets.
Eatery details.
The Perkins chain was established in 1957 when Matt and Ivan Perkins opened what was called Smithy's Pancake House in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Do you think that's a better name than Perkins? Smithy's Pancake House? Also, Ivan? Where were these people from?
Yeah, well, Matt and Ivan.
Oh, yeah, they definitely liked one of those kids better than the other. That's
They're
what
like,
it
we're
goes.
going to give you a leg up, Matthew. Ivan, you weren't planned.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Poor Ivan.
Yeah. We don't know this to be true. These are jokes. Yeah, Smithy's Pancake House doesn't sound like it would have the longevity of something called Perkins.
Yeah. I don't think there's so much less franchise potential with
In
a
a
Smithy's
Smithy's.
Pancake.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
It feels like a local guy named Smithy, whereas Perkins sounds like a firm. Yeah, we can expand this.
No, you're absolutely right. Smithy's Pancake House, it sounds dirty. Perkins, that's like a strong hand.
Yeah. 1958, the chain expanded as a franchise. So 1 year after the opening of
Holy
Smithy's,
shit.
they started franchising. It's not bad. The original Perkins Pancake House offered 24 varieties of pancakes and waffles with various toppings.
Okay. What do we think? What do we think they were?
24 varieties, because they're down to, they have blueberry.
Okay,
They
yeah,
have
that's what I was
normal.
going to say. Blueberry, normal, those are the top two for sure. Chocolate chip. Did they even have chocolate chips back then? What were we still were we rationing for some war? Was chocolate allowed? I don't know. But let's say chocolate chip, banana for sure.
I'm not even going to help with
a
this. I want you to
cherry-
get to a dozen.
A cherry one.
Pancake sounds weird.
But like, I'm talking like
Like a
cherries on
wild berry, a Marion berry.
Wildberry?
We're going to. They have a wild berry pie. Like they're not repurposing
They
the
have a
berries they
cherry
use
pie.
for pies.
They have a cherry pie.
All right.
Yeah, come on, brother. I'll give you wild berry if you give me cherry.
All right.
This is 58. Do you think that like pancakes with whipped cream counted as one
Yeah.
kind? I think I think
also
100%.
like there were definitely 2 of them that were a berry that doesn't exist anymore and no one's heard of. Like an Allen berry. What's an Allen berry? Never heard of
That's
it.
my cousin's name, Allen Berry. An Allen Berry. Yeah. God, did they have caramel back then? Molasses, dude.
How
they must
long
have
ago
had
do you
molasses.
think 1958
Brother,
was?
let me see. If
My mom was, or my dad was born in 58.
Hold on, let me do the math here. 1950. So if my cousin died that year.
Okay, next one. Perkins evolved from a pancake house to Perkins Cake and Steak in 1969. The change was initiated by franchisee Wyman Nelson. Another great name,
Dude,
Wyman.
franchisees, they always have names like that. Like the guys who come in, like Ray Kroc was the McDonald's dude, right? They always
None of
have
these-
kind of sketchy names.
None of these guys have names that make me picture anything but a slicked back hair
100%.
and a slightly oversized suit. Wyman.
They're always on the run from some debt collector,
It's
just
like,
trying to make a
Hey,
buck.
hey man, I'm just trying to like enjoy a meal with you. Why do you keep glancing out the window?
Why do we have to sit in a booth that sees every exit?
Mind your business. But he expanded the menu and implemented a 24-hour schedule.
Damn, so they don't do that anymore.
Wyman's a hustler.
Yeah, he knew how to get that money.
Yeah. In 1979, Matt and Ivan retired, selling their remaining interest in the company, including trademark and distribution rights.
So was it...
So they were out by
Okay.
79. 22
Holy
years.
shit!
22 years in the game, 8 years before, or 9 years before I'm even born, they're gone.
That's a lot of flapjacks, brother, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. In August 1979, Perkins became a wholly owned subsidiary of Memphis-based Holiday Inn, and corporate headquarters were established in Memphis, Tennessee.
That's kind of fascinating to me.
That Holiday Inn.
Yeah. I didn't know they
Yeah.
they even dipped their toes in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But I guess they want to create a hospitality empire.
Right.
Start
And when
with
I
Perkins.
think Perkins, I think let's build an
Listen.
empire on this. Let's
My
plant our
God.
flag in
This
this.
mammoth muffin shall be the cornerstone on which our great empire is built. The
I'll-
castle of Perkins.
I'll jump the gun, and instead of saying this next week, I'll just say it now. That mammoth muffin, I would just call a muffin.
I thought it was
maybe
pretty big.
Maybe I'm the fat ass here who looks at a mammoth muffin, and I was like, yeah, that looks like about what I would call a muffin.
I mean, it wasn't gigantic, but it was bigger than the average
mammoth
muffin.
implies
Mammoth implies
more-
huge, of course.
Yeah.
But it's still bigger than the average muffin.
Holiday Corp., the parent company of Holiday Inn, acquired Perkins Cake and Steak in the late 1970s. Despite remaining profitable, Perkins struggled under Holiday Corp's ownership until it was Corp. Do you say Corp or Core? Corp, whatever.
Yeah, for a corporation.
It's like the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
The Holiday Corp. They struggled under their ownership until it was taken private and revamped. So you've never known any iteration of this. We've only had the revamped Perkins.
Wow. My God. This whole experience has been really strange for me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Because I've only known Perkins in such a specific context.
Yeah.
And this is really kind of opening my
Dad
eyes.
can't cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Off to Perkins we go.
It's literally like shout out to Tim Allen's The Santa Claus when they go to Denny's at the Christmas dinner after he burns all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was my life. That's why I relate to that movie so well. One of the reasons.
Name 3 others.
My dad is Santa Claus.
Name 2 others.
Perkins.
You burned the main one. You buried the lead. Perkins introduced its in-house bakery in 1986, which became a significant part of its identity. Today, the bakery is a cornerstone of Perkins' offerings, featuring a variety of baked goods.
Yeah, this is the Perkins that I know is
With the
Bakery
case.
Perkins. You don't see a case anymore.
Yeah.
You know, except at a place like Perkins, and they're so few and far in between.
Right.
Something about
Well, you get a case at like you probably don't know it, Sherry's.
No.
You get a case at like a Marie Callender's.
Marie Callender's. They even still have those?
Yeah.
No
I
way.
did it for the show, episode 39.
He's got the receipts.
Did it for the show. Perkins expanded into Canada in
That's me.
1988, opening its first location in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Oh, what a town. You ever been?
No.
TBO?
No.
Oh, brother. Best Clams Casino you'll ever have is in TBO. I'll tell you what.
That's such a specific thing to have a best of.
Yeah, I know. And they do. And you'll know what I mean if you ever hit the town, man. You ever start living life right.
Thunder Bay, here I
Thunder
come.
Bay. Thank God you said I forgot what the TB stood for.
You're the one who knew. Perkins has maintained a presence in Canada with notable locations in Niagara Falls and Thunder Bay. I also love that Canada has maintained a presence in Perkins.
Oh, honestly, that warms my heart.
That's a reference to you.
Yeah, that I know it was a joke, but it made me feel seen, and it was very sweet. Actually, I really liked that.
I meant the sentiment. I did mean it. Since 1989. Perkins has supported Give Kids the World Village, a nonprofit in Florida for critically ill children.
That is made up. That's a shell corporation. There's no way that's real, brother. I'm telling you, if you
bring
look
up
into
charitable acts, and you're like, do you know this one specifically is a shell, or
I don't
just
need to. I'm telling you, it is. I'm telling you, this is my first time hearing of it, and I can sniff it out. That money is going right back into the pocket of Mr. Perkins.
Oh my God, they're gone. They left in 1979.
They're fucking digging him up, brother, and stuffing his pockets.
I think Wyman Nelson with his slick back hair.
Nelson.
He's pocketing.
He took one photograph with a kid in a wheelchair, and he's like, I have a charity.
All right, here's what's even better. Perkins contributes both financially and through hands-on involvement in the village. What do you got to say for that? You can't be such a skeptic that you just push back when Perkins does something nice. You're like, bullshit.
What am I being skeptical about, Mike?
Skeptical?
Yeah, what am I being skeptical?
The guy who didn't even go to schools calling out Perkins?
I went to a school. I've been to schools.
Yeah, your mom worked at an elementary school.
I've seen schools, okay? I've looked at pictures of schools. I'm not allowed within 500 feet of them, but I've seen what schools are.
I do believe that. And it's not why you would think.
But yeah, I'm telling you that that's a completely fake charity.
That is the opinion of Andrew
It's
Canada.
not an opinion. I guarantee you if you Google search for 45 minutes, see, you're looking up all these facts, but man, Perkins is blinding you. They're blinding you, Mike.
Do a deeper dive.
Exactly, and you will see that charity does not hold water.
All right. In the 1990s, Perkins focused on expanding along the East Coast, particularly around Interstate 95. This aggressive expansion led to increased sales, but also financial instability. Perkins filed for bankruptcy twice, 2011, 2019, due to various financial challenges. Despite these setbacks, Perkins continues to operate and adapt.
Oh, God. Can you imagine Perkins in the 90s, though? That would have been the time to be there. That's the golden age of Perkins, man.
It's the golden age of kind of everything.
Yeah. McDonald's toys. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Golden age McDonald's toys.
And nothing, and just that.
And Perkins. Yeah, the big
Perkins.
two. What else do you need, baby? We're flying high.
We're in New York City. I don't think you can say that.
Shout out to Joey Hardball.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. Everyone in your life has made up names. The characters you have told me about. So one, you're named Andrew Canada, which just sounds like a detective from a 90s cartoon.
Oh, God. My
Joey
big
Hardball
ass fucking suit. Yeah, Joey Hardball.
is
Shout out to
your
him.
friend that you're staying
Dude,
with.
also, if you saw Joey Hardball, you could never pick him out of a lineup. Whatever you're picturing he looks like, he does not look like that.
All right. And
God,
then
I love him.
you were telling me about your gentle giant of a friend from high school, Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk. Yeah, he was a good guy.
Like,
I didn't know him super well, but he was really nice. We sat together at lunch for a while.
Andrew Canada, Joey Hardball, Hawk.
He was native, so.
Oh, that does explain the name. So that's not a nickname. Everyone you've mentioned sounds like it's a nickname. Andrew Canada sounds like a nickname. Joey Hardball sounds like a nickname.
Yeah.
Hawk, knowing he's native, okay.
Yeah, that's his real name.
And then Bill Black.
Yeah, Bill Black.
Just sounds like a pirate.
Yeah, he kind of is. Bill Danger Black.
Yeah.
That's his middle name. He would get in trouble for it. Well, one time he got in trouble for it. We were in English class.
Yeah.
And we had to do one of those things that was like introduce yourself paper or whatever on the first day. And it's like, do you have a middle name? What's your middle name? He's like, Danger. And the teacher was like, you can't write that. He was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I have a cousin whose middle name is Danger.
No way.
That's actually true. She's been a guest on the podcast 3 times. She's 15 now.
Are you serious?
We fight the entire time she comes on. She's my favorite person to have on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Emma Danger.
That's awesome.
All right, so back to their financial difficulties. In June 2011, many Perkins restaurants closed suddenly in Colorado, Kansas, Illinois, Tennessee, Florida, Michigan, and Minnesota. No notice was given to customers or staff before the closures. I keep seeing that happen
Really?
with different chains. Like Red Lobster just had to shut a bunch down.
Yeah.
There was a chain that I really wanted to do for this podcast because it was the worst meal I'd ever had. And I was just like, oh, something's got to define that low end, called Hometown Buffet. And apparently, like all of their locations just overnight one day.
It's interesting with that because obviously these restaurants become like these huge corporations, and it's kind of similar to like, you know, those instances where the stock market has crashed and like all of a sudden people are jumping, like boom, just like that. You go into work, people are jumping out of buildings, everything's on fire, people are shredding all the documents. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, like that thing that happens all the time.
Well, you know,
that relatable example.
You never been in that? You never had the FBI knock on your door?
I'm not a cartoon character from the 90s.
Oh my God. You really see me, Mike. You really see me.
Later in June.
Now let's get back to this. I'll shut up.
Later in June 2011, Perkins and Marie Calendars Incorporated filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, closing 65 restaurants and laying off 2,500 workers. The company listed $290 million in assets and $441 million in liabilities.
It's a lot of cash flow going through Perkins, man. What else would you expect?
And a lot of loss. Yeah. Almost $500 million in liabilities.
How did they even...
After eating the meal there today, I would call their meal a liability.
Zing.
That's a great way to define that.
You're taking your life in your own hands, which is why I like it.
Perkins was acquired by Huddle House in 2020. Do you know Huddle House?
No.
It's another breakfast chain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aiming to combine their market presence and expand further. Huddle House plans to keep the brand separate while leveraging Perkins's recognition.
100%.
Yeah. That's always the move.
Yeah. Like when, what's that company that bought AT&T all those years ago? Singular Wireless. They bought AT&T.
It was the other way around, wasn't it?
No, that's what you'd think because they kept the AT&T name, right? So, damn straight. That's why I was reading the Wall Street Journal when I was a boy. That's all my dad had laying around.
Yeah.
Well, I would read it as he was hitting me with it. I would catch a couple of the articles.
That's why you like comics now, because you didn't have them as a kid. You're like,
yeah,
you're like Benjamin buttoning your literacy.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, I've gotten so much dumber. Yeah. My intelligence probably peaked in 8th grade.
I do believe that.
Well, yeah, of course, it's 100% true. Didn't you hear me say subtlety or whatever a couple minutes ago?
In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Perkins introduced pickup windows and delivery services. These changes aim to adapt to new dining behaviors and ensure customer safety.
Now we're getting to the sad era of Perkins where like it's kind of already done and we all know it's done, but they're still somehow
don't.
Yeah. Oh God, but how could you not?
Yeah.
They're just trying to hang on.
It's interesting because so many places were hit really hard by COVID-19. And the ones that added delivery and takeout seem to have weathered the storm more or less. It just became a must. And it's weird to see now that COVID's obviously sticking around, but like we're past the pandemic phase of it.
Yeah.
That the places still have them, but it feels weird to me.
100%. I know what you're talking about.
It's like, you're not a delivery place.
I can't even imagine calling a Perkins for delivery. Like, again, with the pandemic, remember how it was like, call your local places, get delivery, get takeout, whatever, like just to keep the businesses going. Can you imagine if the local place that you're calling to keep in business is Perkins?
Sorry. The way you just said, can you imagine, was the most New York sentence.
I'm trying to take you there, Mike. I'm trying to take you to a different place in time. Imagine, if you will, in your mind's eye,
I feel like
you're calling up a Perkins.
I feel like you just ironed my brain smooth.
Nice.
That's what it feels like with how you just said that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Perkins launched a virtual bakery in 2021 to meet the demand for delivery services. This online space offers a variety of baked goods and has shown promising early success. This literally sounds like a VR, like, come into our metaverse.
This is another problem that happens with restaurants like that because of the pandemic. They're trying to get into this virtual space. They're trying to be like more futuristic.
They're
They're trying to like...
Did you hear what you said?
Futuristic?
You said futuristic. It repeated 3 times.
Futuristic?
That totally happened in the room and not in post.
Oh, got it.
You've unlocked the secret menu minigame.
Oh, no.
You said futuristic, and now we are put on the spot to duel back and forth with a category. To play this dumb little game, I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock, and we're going to just spar back and forth. Our category is sci-fi foods. Examples of that would be, instead of metaverse, tomatoverse.
Jesus Christ.
Look,
now I don't feel as bad about what I'm going to say. And it's bad. What I'm going to say is not good.
All right. So we're going to put 1 minute on the clock, trade back and forth, sci-fi foods. Comment below who you think won between comment below who you think lost less.
Oh my God.
Between Andrew and I, and comment your own sci-fi food. I'll pick my favorite one and award you a t-shirt. Announced on the next Secret Menu minigame. And the winner for last time's Secret Menu minigame with the category Bougier Restaurants is Instagram user The Crix Files with her entry Lou Maseratis instead of Lou Malnati's. The Chicagoan in me appreciates that. Go ahead, email me, finediningpodcast@gmail.com, or DM me on Instagram or TikTok @finediningpodcast to claim your free shirt. Everyone else, better luck this time, and let's get to it. All right, Andrew, I'll let you start in 3, 2, 1.
Astro Nachos.
Milk and cereal.
You know what? That one's kind of cute, though. I kind of like it.
All of mine are, because none of them are clever.
UF Okra.
Augmented reality and crumpets.
That one I like. Matrixer for kids.
Cyborger King.
I like that one. Chicken Chow mainframe.
Ah, okay. I like that. Space Lime Continuum.
Whoa. That is cool. Flying Carrot Cake.
Woof.
Wait till you hear the last one, man. I don't even want to say it.
C3POPTART. Like Pop-Tart.
Oh,
like
Pop-Tart.
C3PO, but just more letters to make it Pop-Tart.
Sorry, man. You start spelling, and I'm just like, all I'm seeing is ancient ruins. All right, this is my last one. USBLT.
That's not bad.
It's pretty bad.
No, it's not. I wish I would have come up with that one.
But a USB, it just feels so wimpy to say
mean, it's not super futuristic.
Yes. I mean, it's a little better than floppy disk.
It's like instead of sci-fi foods, it's like
computer words.
And that'll do it for the secret menu. Comment below who won, Andrew or I. Comment your own, and you can win a Fine Dining t-shirt, either worn or not worn by yours truly.
It's going to be worn, baby. It's going to be worn.
It may have a stink to it.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Every week on Talk Easy with Sam Fragoso, I invite an artist, writer, or politician to come to the table and speak from the heart in ways you probably haven't heard from them before. In recent weeks, I sat with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Democratic strategist James Carville, director Richard Linklater, and musician and actor Maya Hawke. To hear those and more episodes of the show, listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Be sure to open up your free iHeart app and search Talk Easy with Sam Fragoso.
Perkins' menu features over 100 items, reflecting its evolution over the decades. The extensive menu includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a variety of baked goods, catering, and diverse tastes.
Hearing that it has that many items on the menu makes me really sad.
It's kind of like pick a few. Like, I love small menu places.
Of course.
Because it means they're confident in all those things.
But Perkins,
stop.
God,
stop.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Every year they add another page to the menu.
That'll do it for this week's Eat Deets. Andrew, we've heard the history. We're ready to move into reviews, but next week is when people can hear our review of Perkins. This week, to set the table, we got to see what other people are saying about this very Perkins location.
Oh, shit.
As we head into this week's Yelp from Strangers.
We need a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5. So get a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. little Yelp. Give us those complaints while you literally whine and die. Yelp!
All right, this is Yelp from Strangers, our segment where we turn to Yelp and read out our favorite 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-star Yelp reviews of the very Perkins that we went to. Andrew, do you mind if I start us off with the first review?
Please do. I'm terrified.
5-star review.
All right, this is a 5-star review of this Perkins.
That's impossible.
From Michelle G. from Flushing, Queens, New York.
Oh, I know Michelle.
August 11th, 2010.
What?
This is 14 years ago that she wrote this.
God, where is she now?
Michelle G. writes, told this Christie girl beneath me we had to go to Staten Island. Why the fuck would we go to Staten Island? Perkins, that's why. Amazing food, great prices. So worth the traffic on the Belt Parkway and people not knowing how to drive on the Belt. Just don't listen to your GPS.
God, I love it when a review for a restaurant says
Very
nothing
little,
about the restaurant.
Almost nothing about the restaurant.
You do run into a lot of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I love people who have an attitude about other people's reviews and kind of like write like, hey, forget what the fuck that guy said. He doesn't know.
I love that. Honestly, if I were on Yelp, I'd probably do shit like that.
Yeah.
I would just comment wrong, period, under so many people's stuff. Nope. Wrong. Not right.
This is not the right opinion. This is not
Nope.
factual.
Sorry.
You think this is good? This
Incorrect.
is bad.
Wait, but that's a 5-star review?
That's a 5-star review. That includes the phrase, why the fuck would I go to Staten Island?
Perkins, that's why,
That's
baby.
why.
That's
Yeah.
why I came. That's why I came to see you, man. Because of Perkins.
Because of Perkins. Perkins got you to fly down from Buffalo.
Yeah, but you know what? I love it. Why?
I like
What do
to
you
think
think
that
she
I
got?
was the draw.
Yeah, 100%. You always are, Mike.
Thank you.
I must paint you.
You may not.
No! Damn it!
You showed
Why won't anybody let me paint them?
You showed your hand. You played it too desperate.
1-star review.
This is a 1-star review from Chris C., New York, New York, June 18th, 2014. So 4 years after Miss G.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle G. had shown up. My first review on Yelp. Okay, what? You're opening with Perkins?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to react to it while I'm reading it? Okay.
No, you have to stay silent.
He downloaded the app and
Let me
made
look
an
at it.
account. Yeah, sure.
He's only written 19 total.
And they're all different Perkins locations. My first review on Yelp, and I must say, I have been wanting to leave one for this Perkins.
For this Perkins.
So he's given it a 1-star review, but he's been here multiple times.
Yeah.
Just going there to hate it. I live about 5 blocks away. This is a warning. Okay. That I love, by the way. All
The
my
okay.
respect. Honestly, I trust everything this man says. I
Is about
love
to
it.
say.
Okay. We get in, sit down, no menu, or anything over 10 minutes. Let's see. Dot. My GF gets up, goes to the restroom to wash her hands, comes back, and is laughing about how some nasty girl was fighting with her BF on the phone while she blew out the stall.
I love that. You're in an argument while just shitting your brains out.
That's the time to do it, man. I mean, you just got anger
You've
coming
got
out
anger
of both
literally
ends.
flowing through you.
Can you imagine getting so angry at someone that you just have to poop?
Yeah.
Like she started out like outside.
Yeah.
And she's like, God, I'm getting so angry. I gotta dump out
I
right
gotta
now.
get rid of some of this rage.
Lo and behold, she comes out after her, and we notice, ... You ready for this? God, Chris C., I love you. You ready for this? ... It's our waitress.
Of course it was.
Oh, my God. Hired on the spot, by the way. That's I mean, you have to hire her. Maybe she's not good at her job, but she needs to be at that Perkins. You know what I mean?
I don't. Keep going.
Awesome. This is going to be a great experience. She comes over. We order coffee and pie. We get crusty coffee cups that are, just the letter, dirty, and they look like they were from World War II.
What?
You know how World War II famously had terrible coffee cups? That was like the number one problem with World War II. You
Were they
know
like
that?
tin cans that
they
you
were
beg on the street with? Excuse me, sir.
It was just Bush's baked beans, and then they had kind of like a leather strap glued to it.
Yeah.
Crusty coffee cups. The pie was cold slop. And to top it off, waitress comes and lays the check next to me as I take my, all caps, first bite of pie. 4 exclamation points. Whew. Lucky I didn't snap. And if you know Chris C.,
You do not give him a check until he has wiped his mouth and put his napkin down on the table.
you don't rush Chris C.
Chris C works on Chris C time.
And so do you. And so do you.
So do all of us.
That's right. Lucky I didn't snap. What a crazy, like, weird threat kind of to throw in this
You're
Yelp
like,
review.
oh, you gave me my check. You're lucky that I didn't toss this table.
Okay, now here's a misspelling that even I have never seen before. This place is gross.
Like groceries.
Yep.
Groce.
And smells like cat pee. Stay away.
1 star.
1 star from Chris C. I gotta meet him. I gotta meet
Call him up.
I gotta find him.
I mean, you could probably
Let's see,
reach
that was-
out to him through Yelp.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, that was 2014. It's 10 years ago. My aunt passed away.
Okay. Why are you
So
doing...
he's definitely been in prison for at least 3 years now. So I'm sure I can find him in the system.
Chris?
Oh, yeah. Chris is in the system. Chris is in the system.
Chris has a mugshot publicly available.
It was on the coffee cup that they brought
The
him.
World War II cup. Have you seen this man? Yeah. You can go download our full Yelp from Strangers segment at our Patreon. The link for that is in the description of this episode, or you can go to patreon.com/finediningpodcast. And we're now offering a 1-week free trial, so what do you have to lose? Go check it out. People have wild opinions, and we get to read oh so many of them. Thanks. Okay, Andrew, we've gone through the history. We've gone through the Yelp reviews. We are all ready for next week's episode, our review, our experience, our time. 2 brothers, 2 viewpoints, 2 in the cooler. Go ahead and plug your podcast. Thanks for coming on.
2 in the cooler. Just check out the YouTube. We're on Instagram too. We're posting clips on there of all the stuff. We have a great time. Also, I want to talk about our big segment though.
Yeah.
Which is the Who Would Win of the Week segment, where we take 2 people, characters, or things, and for a few minutes talk about which one would win if they got in like a physical fight.
And some of these things are just ideas. They're not even things with real physical bodies.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of objects like Rubik's Cube versus Bop It was a good one.
See, Bop It takes a punch.
Bop It does take
You
a
can
punch.
twist it. You can spin it.
Pull it, baby. Dude, you know I'm pulling
But
it.
Rubik's Cube will get to you mentally.
Yeah, but
Rubik's Cube
it's
will
a physical game.
It's
a
the
physical game, brother.
Look, boxing is it's a mind game too.
And this is what it's like on the show, except mostly we're yelling at each other. We did Mojo Jojo versus Beetlejuice one time, which was actually super fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, we post the Instagram polls for those, so that's cool for people to vote on. A lot of times people, they vote wrong.
AKA against what you
100%,
logicked the correct thing to be.
But
Well, then argue better.
brother, the stats are right there.
The tail of the tape is on my side. Well, thanks for coming on Fine Dining. Week 1. Stick around for week 2, where you will continue to be wearing this shirt that blends into the curtain background that you are sitting in front of. Enjoyed having you on the podcast. We'll just be sitting here for 1 week waiting on our table. But in the meantime, have a fine day.
Waiting on our table. Step is done and we had some fun. Now we're waiting on our table. Join us next time. We're stuck in line. Waiting on our table. We're so hungry, tummy's grumbling. Waiting on our table. We gotta continue our search for mediocrity.
Have a fine day.